What's going on? Welcome back to Mind Your Hormones. We are chatting all about, I don't actually want to say morning and night routine with the newborn, because it's not so much a routine as it is like creating habits. So, oh, there she, if you hear her, my little Madison is with us right now. She's always with us at these episodes, for right now anyway. So she's just, I don't know if she's having a dream or something. She's just making some noises, but we're just going to keep rolling with it. So again, I don't even want to say routine, because it's not like a rigid routine that's exactly the same every single day. It for sure changes. So I kind of just want to preface this saying like it's more so habits that we are incorporating with her in the morning and night to eventually establish more of a routine. And it's also for us too. So this is what's just been really helpful. So before we get into that, again, if you are maybe if you're new around here, I currently have a 6-week-old Madison. She was born on June 12th. So at the time that you're listening to this, she's 7 weeks, almost 8 weeks, which is, oh my God, it's so crazy. It's like just going so fast. So let me just say that there was absolutely zero routine, habits, anything the first few weeks. Okay. So if you're listening to this and you have a 1 to 4 week old, first of all, kudos to you for having the time to listen to a podcast. Literally, it takes me days. So let's just finish one podcast at this time. So let's just say this is a win right now. Even if you have to stop listening to this literally right now, like you're already winning. Okay. So if you have a brand new little one, like this is not going to be something that's going to be happening in those first few weeks. Okay. So just like embrace it. Let it be what it is. There's going to be no rhyme or reason in the beginning. Okay. Like we didn't even start having any really semblance of a routine. Like we kind of would do similar things in the morning and night in the beginning, but like nothing at all consistent because it's just so crazy. With everything that's going on, and you're so like, you're healing, you're tired, they're feeding all the time. Like it's just wild. I mean, she's still feeding all the time, but we'll get to that. So this really didn't start till like she was about 5-6 weeks. Like this has kind of been a little bit more, really this last week, the time that's recording this has been more consistent with it. And I'm starting to feel like, okay, like we're getting into a little bit of more of a routine. Again, I want to say more so habits than like a rigid routine. And before I even get into like what we're doing in the morning, what we're doing in the night, know that this is going to change. So like because I am someone, so is my husband, Chris, we're very routine people. Like we like to have a routine. We like to do things in the same order. We just like to have a plan. Like we're both very structured in that way, and it really works well for us. So this is definitely just a lesson of parenthood, of knowing that it's going to change, right? Like we're going to have this plan and this plan is going to change. So like feeling very loose in the plan that you're making and knowing that it's not going to look perfect, right? You're going to have a plan and then all of a sudden they're going to have a poop explosion and you're going to have to pause and go change their diaper, right? You just get them in the car. So you're like, okay, we're ready to go. We got everything. They have a poop explosion. Oh my God. Okay. Text them, tell them we're going to be late. This isn't happening now. We got to change them. They shit all over their outfit. I got to get a new outfit on her now. Like it's going to change. Or your plan was, okay, after her walk, she's going to nap and then I'm going to be able to do this. And then she's not napping, right? So it's going to change. It's not going to look perfect. Okay. 3 words that are my words for motherhood and through pregnancy are surrender, trust, and flow. You just got to surrender, trust, and flow. Those 3 words are always getting me through because that is really what it's all about. You have to surrender to the moment, because if not, you're going to be pushing against it. You're not going to be able to enjoy it. You're not going to be able to just surrender to the season that you're in, because you're never going to get the season back. And it can be really difficult when you're in the moment, but just surrender to it and allow it to happen. And it's so much easier. It's so much more enjoyable. Trust that everything is happening exactly as it's meant to, and just let that shit flow. Okay. So that is just what I need to preface before we even get into this. Now, what we're doing right now in the morning is I'm exclusively breastfeeding, right? She's eating like overnight. She's still waking up. Her days and nights are still a little bit mixed up, which is one of the reasons why I'm starting to really be more consistent with a morning and nighttime routine in efforts to help her flip her days and nights and know like, okay, this is daytime, this is nighttime. And one of the ways that we're doing that is getting sunlight in the morning and it being dark at night for when we're putting her to sleep. So I'll talk about that in a second. But in the morning, so she's feeding overnight. She's feeding like she's getting up about every 2-ish hours. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more, but like on average, it's still about every 2 hours she's feeding. Pretty much like that during the day too is kind of like where we're at the moment. She feeds for about like 10 to 15 minutes at a time. So it's not a long time. Sometimes after that, she'll just pacify, just be like sucking like it's a pacifier and not really eating. But that's kind of what the feeding looks like right now. I'll probably do a whole nother podcast episode on my breastfeeding journey. I definitely will. So I'm not going to go into that right now, but in the morning, we'll do like a quote unquote last feeding before we get out of bed, probably somewhere between, again, because it's not consistent. It's not like she feeds at 12, 2, 4. Like sometimes it's 3:36. Sometimes it's like always different, right? It depends. It's totally different. Sometimes her last feeding in the morning before waking up will be like 7 something. Sometimes it'll be 8 something. So it'll be 6 something. Like it totally depends. So generally in that like 7 o'clock-ish hour, will be when I'm starting to be like her last feeding before I like get up for the day. Now if it was like the other night, she was up from, I think it was like 3 something. No, it was 4 to like 6:30. She was just awake. She's like, Mom, I'm ready to party. I just had a Red Bull. I'm up and I am here. I was like, all right, so we're just not sleeping, Madison. Okay. Like it was so crazy. But anyway, so that morning we did not get out of bed till after like 8:30 or something because we were up for so many hours in the middle of the night. And I was like, we are sleeping. So again, this is just another example of and I have the luxury of doing that because I run my own business. I have the like flexibility of time and stuff like that. But anyway, that is what that looks like from like a time perspective. Ideally, if we have like a pretty good night, like again, we're still waking up like every 2 hours, but it's not like we wake up every 2 hours, I feed her, and then she generally falls back asleep usually within like sometimes within a half hour. It depends, right? Sometimes it'll be right away. Sometimes we'll take her a half hour. It totally depends. But it's when it's not like we're up for hours, we'll get up around that 7-ish time. Okay. So that's like kind of what that looks like. After that feeding, around the 7-ish time feeding, I will get myself up, wash my face, brush my teeth, get changed, and I'll have her in front of her contrast card. So Loverly is a really awesome brand. I have no affiliation with them at all, but I love their brand. We have like their playmat, and their contrast cards. So when babies are newborns, they only see in black and white and they're like fixated on it. And that seeing the black and white contrast is how their brain develops. So we put her in front of these contrast cards all the time since literally birth. But now starting like 5 weeks, she's like so interested in them. Like she'll look at them for a much longer period of time and just be like engulfed in them. So unless she's like fussy or whatever, or like hungry or whatever, like nothing will stop her. But in the morning, generally after she eats, I'll put some contrast cards in front of her, like either on her playmat or in the middle of the bed or something where I know she's not like moving, she's safe, all that. I'm not getting into it. But so I'll put the contrast cards in front of her. So I know I'll have like 5-ish minutes. Sometimes it'll be longer than that to like brush my teeth, wash my face, get up, get changed, and get myself like kind of ready because my husband isn't home from work yet at that time in the morning. So that's what I'll do. And then I'll get her up, get her dressed, get her ready for the day. And what I'm doing now is I have the Mamaroo, which is like a little like swing thing that has these like contrast colors above her too, which she's obsessed with. So I'll put her in that and I'll do like, I can maybe get 10 minutes with her in there of doing like maybe having my warm lemon water while I'm doing like a little stretch, some pelvic floor exercise. Like I'm starting to get into more of movement again now. And that's going to be the time that I'm aiming to do it around that time in the morning. Again, this is always changing. This is just kind of what it looks like right now. And then like again, like when I'm doing that, I'll kind of have my warm lemon water. It's more of like chugging it at this point, just because I'm like just starting to fit this in again. Like I literally am just starting to fit my warm lemon water in again. So it's kind of just looking like I'm chugging it while I'm doing these things, but I'm like, I'm still getting it in. Okay. And right now at the time of recording, it's summertime. So we're going for walks and I want to go earlier because it gets really, really hot. So that's kind of like, I'm aiming to go in that 8 o'clock hour, if not before, because it just gets so hot after that. Sometimes it'll be in the 9 o'clock hour, it all depends. But anyway, so before the walk, I'll have like half a banana with some almond butter on it. Again, I'm just like doing this on the go while she's like entertaining herself for a second. And again, sometimes she will not sit in the Mamaroo. Sometimes she will not be entertained by the contrast card. So I'm just holding her while I'm trying to do all of this, or I won't be doing the warm lemon water. I won't be having the banana with nut butter. Like totally depends on how she's doing in the morning. Again, it's always different, but these are the things that we are starting to do on a more consistent basis. And then we go for a walk, right? So we're going for a walk in the morning. She usually will fall asleep on the walk and be asleep when we get home. So I can leave her in the car seat for like 5 minutes. I don't leave her in there sleeping for a while if it's not in the car or in the stroller, because the way that the angle is, it doesn't support their breathing. So you can't leave them in there sleeping, which I'm like, why do they make it like that? Because kids always fall asleep in the car. They always, well, most of the time, fall asleep in the car, fall asleep on a walk. And it's like, would be so awesome if you could just like leave them there for a little bit while they're napping and get stuff done, but you're not supposed to do that. Again, I'll do it when I walk in for like 5 minutes, just like get myself situated before taking her out. So after the walk, usually she'll fall asleep, and that's when I'll get my supplements. I'll have my supplements. I'll get my breakfast ready, which is already prepared. Like if I have to prepare breakfast that morning, it's just not happening. So making sure that I am having like overnight oats prepared or a smoothie. I've been doing overnight oats or chia seed pudding. I have a reel that I did on the overnight oats recipe, so I'll link that below. But having breakfast prepared is like a non-negotiable at this point. Otherwise it's just not happening, or it's not happening for a really long time. It's pretty much lunchtime. And if you know anything about me, balancing your blood sugar is so important, so we cannot skip meals. I have a whole free training too on how to create hormone balanced meals. It's completely free. I pulled it from the Mind Your Hormones method, the first module, which is balancing your blood sugar. It's a fire training. I'll put it below also. So if you're like, you just want to learn how to do that. My little squeaky baby, I don't know if you could hear her or not. She's squeaking up a storm. Anyway, so I'll have that prepared. So if, like, as soon as we get in, right now, because it's really hot, I'm washing my face after we go for a walk because I'm like all sweaty. So I'll like change again, wash my face. I'll literally take a baby wipe and just like wipe myself down, like from being sweaty, especially on my boobs and stuff. So I don't want her eating that when she's going to be eating. Have my supplements, get my breakfast ready. Then I get her, and then she's hungry again. So then I'll breastfeed her again. And then that's like what our morning looks like right now. And usually sometimes, again, depending on the timing, my husband will be home and then he'll take her for a little bit. So I'll maybe get ready. Sometimes he's home before we go on a walk. Sometimes it's after. Like, again, it totally depends on the timing. So the timing isn't always consistent. It's more about the habits that we're doing. That's really what I'm saying for like a routine right now, is more of getting the habits in place, not so much having it be the same time every day, because that's very difficult when you have a newborn. It's just, I have not experienced the timing to be exactly the same yet. Hold on, I need to have a sip of water. Okay. So that's, and when I'm feeding her, after the walk, I'm eating my breakfast. Pretty much I have every single meal while she's eating. Like, that's just literally how it is. Because she's eating all the time, and it's easier that way because she is stationary, and I'll just eating like that. So anyway, that is what the morning is looking like right now. And what we're just going to refine as we go along, but that's like kind of what we're having established. And the reason why I'm in the beginning, again, like we were not going out for walks in the morning. I was not getting my act together. Like we would go for walks usually at night or not at all. But now, because I really want to help establish her circadian rhythm and get her days and nights right and not have them be flip-flop like they are right now. The reason why I know they're flip-flop is because she'll sleep so deeply during the day and she does not sleep as deeply at night, but I am noticing a difference. So we are getting there. But anyway, having sunlight get in her eyes in the morning, and as well as you, to help maintain your circadian rhythm, which is so important for your hormones, because when you see sunlight in the morning, it stimulates your cortisol levels and it lets your body know to stop producing melatonin, which melatonin is your hormone that helps you rest, relax. That's what we want stimulated at night to help you feel tired. And you want your cortisol stimulated in the morning to help you feel awake. So we're trying to establish this with her as well. So getting out in the morning for a walk so she sees sunlight is helping with that. So that's the morning, quote unquote, routine. Now at nighttime, this is a little different right now because at the time of this recording, we closed on our new home and we are renovating it. When I say we are renovating it, I mean my dad and my husband are renovating it. I am not part of the renovation. I am part of the providing food and water for them team, okay, and taking care of the baby. So like my husband goes to work and then he goes and does renovations. Literally, it's like 24/7. It's insane. So right now it's just completely wild because they're trying to get everything done within 4 weeks so that we could get in there so we can get out of our current place. So we sold our place. I don't even know when we closed on it. Oh, we closed on it right around the time she was born, on our current condo that we're in right now. And we got post-possession. So the woman who's bought our condo is amazing, and she's letting us stay while we're doing renovations. But obviously we have to pay to stay here. So whatever, it's a whole thing. We're trying to get out as quickly as possible. So they're literally every single day, weekdays, weekends, they're over there all day long doing renovations. And then Chris will come home, shower, we do dinner, and then he goes to work. It's wild. Okay. But so at nighttime, what we were doing, we were going for a walk before dinner time. Like we were going for a walk kind of maybe like between the like 4 and 5 o'clock hours, somewhere around there, 4:30, 5:30, somewhere around there, we'd go for a walk. Right now, that's not happening right now. Also, it's so hot out, but he's also working, doing renovations at that time. So we're not doing that right now, but we will get back into doing that, doing a nighttime walk, because again, when you also see the light at night, it has a different color, like within the sun, that stimulates your melatonin levels and lets you know, oh, this is nighttime sun. So that's really helpful too. So we were doing walk. We'll get back into that. We're not doing it right now, but what we are doing is a bath around the 7-ish hour, somewhere in the 7 o'clock-ish hour, probably between like 6:30 and 7:30 is when we'll aim to do a bath. Then I feed her, right? So we do the bath. Chris will clean up all the bath stuff. We always give her a bath together. Chris then cleans up all the bath stuff. I get her dressed and then I feed her. And that's like the quote unquote last feed until she goes to bed for the night, which she's not going to bed for the night. She's still up like every 2 hours after that. But this is like, we're establishing like this is her last feed before the nighttime sleep. Because eventually she'll be waking up as much at night. So when I'm feeding her around this time, I'm in our room, the lights are off. I have like ocean waves playing. It's dark. So I'm like, and she's in her sleep sack. So like we're establishing like, okay, it's nighttime, it's dark out. I sing her songs, the same songs every night to like know like, okay, this is what we're stimulating. This is like a nighttime thing now. And so we're doing the same things. Again, the timing is sometimes different, but I'm doing things in the same order so that she gets into a pattern of knowing like, okay, now this is nighttime. And then I put her in her snuggle me. She sleeps right now in her snuggle me, and the snuggle me is in our bed. So that is like, I'll put her in there in, the dark room, leave the waves playing for like sound. And that's like, we're aiming right now that she's falling asleep between 8 and 9 as of right now. I think it was when she was 5 weeks or 4 weeks, she had like a leap going on. If you know what a leap is, look it up. It's like a developmental time for them. This was not happening. Like she was having a witching hour from like 7 to like 11. Like there was no showering for me at night. Like she was just like up, and it was like wild. And that lasted for about a week. And now it's been better. So again, just know things don't last forever. It's not always gonna be perfect. It's gonna be challenging sometimes, but again, so like that was crazy. There was no routine, no rhyme or reason at that time. But lately it's been getting better, and it's taking her less time to fall asleep every single night. So like the first time that we were really trying to establish this, she didn't fall asleep till like after 9 something, and I was like rocking her for over an hour. Last night I rocked her for probably like 45 minutes. So that's like kind of what that's looking like right now. So I'm aiming to get her to quote unquote bed between 8 and 9. And then right now, because my husband is doing the renovations and he's not home at like 5 or whatever to do dinner, he's not getting home till probably like 7 right now. And we're not doing dinner at the time, so I'm getting her ready for bed. We're literally having dinner at like 9:30 at night right now. Like that's what's happening. What I'm doing is I'm prepping it when she's napping around the 4 o'clock hour so that I could just like throw everything together once she's asleep, once he's home, he's done showering, he's done doing what he has to do. So we're literally eating dinner right now at like 9:30. Do I recommend this? No, but this is the season that we're in. Okay. I'm just happy that we're eating. Okay. It's like completely insane. But eventually what we'll do is we'll be eating dinner before we do her bath around 7. And then after she goes to bed, we'll just be able to chill for a little bit. Kind of, you know what I mean? So that's what will be the plan right now. I'm just being real with you. That's not happening. We're literally eating dinner at 9:30. Okay. Like that's just what's happening. Eventually it's going to end once he's not doing renovations 24/7. But that's just what it looks like right now. And then after that, I get in the shower or whatever. And if she doesn't, usually she'll wake up. But if it doesn't wake up by the time I'm about to go to sleep also, I'll wake her up to feed her to kind of top her off before I go to sleep. Because if not, I go to sleep, then she wakes up like 45 minutes later. And I'm like, what is the point of this? Like I just fell asleep and now I'm waking up again. So I'll usually wake her up. I'm usually in bed now. Well, again, usually this has just been like the past couple of days of trying, this routine, quote unquote routine out. but I'm aiming to get in bed like before 11. Sometimes it's probably usually between like 10:30 and 11:30 is when I'm getting in bed. Again, it totally depends what time she goes down, what time we finish eating, all of that. But it's usually about between 10:30 and 11:30 right now. So then I will wake her up, I'll feed her, I'll change her, and then we go back to sleep. And then the night is always different. Sometimes she'll wake up every hour and a half, every 2 hours. It's totally dependent. But the things that I really want to get across, if you are having a newborn and you want to try and get some semblance of a routine with them, is the light and the darkness. Like that's what I'm really prioritizing right now, and doing things in the same order. So getting that light in her eyes in the morning so she knows, hey, this is morning time, and then being in a dark room at night, hey, this is nighttime, and just doing stuff in the same order to like help me get into a bit of a more of a routine, especially that I'm back to recording. I'm going to be taking clients again, and to help establish, just like us at night, we don't just like throw ourselves in bed. Like having a routine at night is so important for them to know that like this is the process of what we're doing. So that's just what we're doing right now. That's what's working at the moment. Obviously, it's always going to be changing. I just wanted to share what it looks like for us of creating this type of, these habits. I really don't want to call it a routine, these habits with a newborn. And again, if you were in the very, very first few weeks, like please do not think this is going to be happening. I don't want to give you false expectations. I mean, maybe it will work for you. Amazing. But especially if you're exclusively breastfeeding, like that's probably not going to happen. So I don't want to give you false hope with that. Okay. This is really, again, something that we really didn't start to like 5.5, 6 weeks. I forget if it was 4 weeks or 5 weeks where she had that leap, and it was like crazy every single night. Everything is a blur. I don't remember, but it was around that time where it was just insane. But what I have noticed is, and what I'm working on also is, if she doesn't fall asleep before, or like if we're not like in that like dark room, we're feeding, she's getting really tired, like by 8:30, if she's not falling asleep, she's overtired, and then she's up forever. So that's why I'm really prioritizing getting her to sleep before that, like around that 8 o'clock time, because after that, it's just like she's overtired. And I'm also trying to figure out during the day, like it's just a dance between, is she napping too much or not enough during the day? Is she overtired or is she undertired? So I'm figuring out of, okay, I don't ever let her nap more than 2 hours, because first of all, she doesn't really, because she needs to eat, but during the day, she probably would nap for longer than 2 hours. If she's like in a comfortable, like if she's in the wrap, like I'm in right now, she will sleep because she's so comfortable. But I don't allow her to sleep more than 2 hours during the day, because then she's going to be getting too much sleep. She's going to be up all night. So, that is like what I'm working on right now, of like how much to keep her up during the day and not, it's like, it's a crazy thing, but like, again, she naps when she wants to nap. I don't like make her nap. It's just like, this is when she sleeps. But it's just like a dance of figuring out, is she undertired? Is she overtired? So just figuring it out. Like I'm just literally here with you in this, if you're in this space too, of just, here's what's working for us. Here's what I'm working on figuring it out. And I will, of course, share everything as I'm learning with you. If you have any tips around this, I'm always open to hearing it, but I hope this was helpful for you in some way. And I think it's just fun to share like what it actually looks like for me, in hopes it'll help you. And obviously every single baby is different. Every single person is different. So take what makes sense, leave what doesn't, do what feels good to you, leave what doesn't feel good to you. Every single person is different. You have to do what you feel is best for you and your baby, because you know what's best for you and your baby. What's best for me and Madison might not be best for you and your child. So like, trust yourself and know that whatever feels best for you is what's best for your child. Okay. So want to leave you with that. I hope this was helpful for you. Please let me know. Share this on Instagram and tag me at Corinne Angelica if it was helpful. Share it with a friend. I'm so appreciative of you. I love, love, love this platform. I'm obsessed with podcasting. It's just literally the best. So I hope you have an amazing rest of your day or night, whenever you're listening to this, and I'll talk to you soon.